It was an absolute treat for me months ago to stumble upon one of my favorite groups releasing music and be able to showcase new offerings from them, especially given that this group has been not only a long favorite of mine in my playlist for many years, but was one of, I think, the catalysts for why I got into the metal scene at a very early age, or metal/rock. ANBERLIN really was a treasure in terms of listens for me as a kid. And ever since, they've been a top favorite of mine. But I was under the impression a couple years ago that they had parted ways and since basically said sayonara as a group. So it was quite the revelation to find out that, hey, new music is out. And in this case, even going further than just one single, we now have an official EP. Like, again, that was complete news to me, but I was just going through my playlist being like, okay, in terms of the groups I like to showcase on this channel, I tend to go through my playlist quite a bit and see if there are new offerings from time to time. And I was just in the process of looking at ANBERLIN, and I did a search for them, and I found out, oh, this new EP, I forget the name of it at the moment, but Silverline, I think is the title of it, but it's officially been released. And we have even more music beyond just 2 Graves. And the way I'm going to try and approach this one is I basically already covered the track and my thoughts on it in full from that first video. So this is going to be more directed to the music video that's been released to accompany it. But as I explained as well in that first video, part of why I got into ANBERLIN was that first music video for Ready Fuels. That's what brought me in immediately. And ever since, I mean, it's still one of my favorites. I mean, they've released so many good ones. Feel Good Drag is another favorite of mine. Let's see where 2 Graves ranks, though. Again, this is new for them. I'm so happy. It's like, we're getting the ANBERLIN resurrection. You hope for groups that say sayonara after a while to maybe make a return or have a reunion, and ANBERLIN is demonstrating such. I'm so happy with it. So I'm going to be covering in the future in terms of these videos. I'm not sure it'll be the entire length of the EP. Maybe I'll try. I don't know exactly. Or at the very least, it'll be a good helping of the tracks on this release, including Circles. That's another music video that's been released apparently for the EP as well. I'm going to go ahead and queue up 2 Graves. We can get a first impression for the music video together. Again, to be clear on this, I have given my thoughts more so. I'm sure some thoughts on the track will be included here as well. I can do kind of an overview if it blends into the video and if it's necessary for me to talk about, but I've already done a track response with that first video. So this is going to be more directed at present with the music video, and if you haven't heard it before, you are in for a treat. As well, this is typical of my music reactions if you're not familiar. I try to accommodate every listener to the best extent that I can. So if you happen to be somebody who would like to read the message of the piece and the narrative as we go forward, I will have the lyrics superimposed for you at the bottom of the video, and they'll switch around as the track progresses. Without further ado, let's cue up 2 Graves. And again, if you're very fresh on the scene of ANBERLIN, true talent here. Music videos are part of what make them interesting. Again, this is what brought me in with Ready Fuels. Not just the music video, of course, but that song is just so fantastic. I'm just happy for new ANBERLIN offerings. All right, here we go. I've listened to this track so many times since covering it. It's just so good. That opener. Really strong.
Found myself a shadow, faults in my veins, down in my lungs, and a chest that had cave. In fury you won't fall, weapons formed together.
I've heard no voice like Stephen Christian's. Just so pleasant. This video seems to have more of an abstract vision. I'm trying to follow it here. A bit harder to decipher.
Blood in the water line. There's a thrashing in the dark.
The inflection's so perfect. It seems like in terms of the video, I'm trying to place it with the narrative. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing. It's more of like an sundry mix of objects. Human-centric, just kind of a collection of band members, and I believe... Are they all the band members? Or maybe there's some random people in here, I forget. I mean, I can see something. It's just, I think it's more conceptual, so in some parts it's harder to read. Maybe they're just going for an originalist approach. If so, you've succeeded. Perfect. Maybe just the image they were going for is, sort of just an original return. Being like, hey, let's come up with something a bit mysterious. At least in part, it reminded me a bit, and I can speak to this as an English major, for those of you who perhaps are familiarized with different writing styles, let's say poetry. The list poem, I mean, maybe I'm reaching here, but I don't know. The mixture of objects seemed without a general cohesion. I mean, just something seemed mixed to me. I mean, maybe there's sort of a metaphor that I'm missing here in terms of interpreting it with the piece. I like it. It feels to me in a way a bit vintage, at least by the overlay and the lighting. But like the mixture of the dogs and the sundry objects in the background, the filming of this confined environment. It feels to me sort of like, again, like almost along the lines of a list poem. If you're not familiar with what that exactly means, it's it's a poetic form. It's just more a list of sundry objects with a general intent in mind. At least from my experiences of trying to come up with a list poem, there's usually a united theme or a message or a larger object that you're trying to use abstract, imaginative wordplay to describe in a very creative fashion. Maybe that's kind of, the idea here, even though, again, it feels like you have to really try and pry into the work to better understand the heart of what it's showcasing. It's just that song is perfect. So the entire time you're watching this, trying to decipher the image and the intent, you're mesmerized and transfixed by a beautiful rock song. And this 100% is. I did forget to mention, by the way, it was fun to cap off the video with this, hey, we're going to perform in this confined space. And I guess it was all the band members, come to think of it. There's a live video, and I've never seen ANBERLIN live. I'd love to. Given it seems now they're touring again, I don't know if they've got anything lined up presently, but at least at one point they did, in order for someone to get this video. There's a YouTube live performance floating around of this song, and it was so engaging to watch. So if you're interested in perhaps getting a window, like maybe you've never seen ANBERLIN live, but you want to see a different take on the track through a live performance, that video is up, I believe. And it's so... hopefully it still is. It's so much fun. It's a beautiful song. It's one of my favorites probably from their library. And it's relatively young. I mean, in the span of what they're known for, let's say Ready Fuels, Feel Good, Drag, Godspeed. I mean, there's so many tracks that I'm sure people gravitate toward if you are an ANBERLIN fan. There's so many that you remember. It's another fine addition. I can't wait to hear more, though, in the way of fresh listens. Like I said, more videos incoming showcasing ANBERLIN, given that the Silverline EP features some new work as well. I'm so happy by it. Return of ANBERLIN. So great. What are your guys' thoughts, though, with this video? I'm interested to hear the comments down below in the case that maybe you saw something in this song that I didn't. In terms of deciphering exactly how the video fits and gets in context to a narrative. Or maybe it's meant to be, you know, in contrast. Maybe it's meant to be something completely organic and the track is just a, you know, nice foundation for it to work off of. Feel free to let me know what your thoughts and perhaps your interpretation is down below. And I'd love to hear the angle you come out from as well. Is this, you know, a fresh listen for you? And perhaps ANBERLIN is new to you. If so, again, they've got an extensive library from years past. I would highly recommend going and checking them out. Big fan. Love them so much. Or maybe you're a longtime fan like me. How do you approach this song and the video in question here? And what is your overall take? Let me know down below. Going forward, I can't wait to showcase ANBERLIN more often. Great. I hope we get even more music into the future. Maybe the EP is kind of like a, you know, reunion one-off, but I'm all for it. I'm all for a return. I love this band so much. And Two Graves really is just, it's such a fabulous piece of music. It's trademark ANBERLIN. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.